Hi there YouTube, Big G back again with another video. The other day Tony from Electric Adventures nominated me in a video response that he did. By nominating me, actually entered me into a competition. Thank you Tony. It's also a way of getting a shout out to other channels and so forth. So I thought I'd do a response. Now the original video was done by Kid Shorykun. It's a competition that he's doing, and he basically allows you to nominate other channels that will then be entered into a competition. Maybe the competition's over, I'm not sure. So I'm going to nominate 3 channels. Okay, so I'm going to start with the 5 questions that's been doing the rounds on YouTube at the moment. And once I'm done with the 5 questions, then I'm going to give the 3 channels that I nominate for the actual competition. The first question is, what state do you live in? Now in South Africa we have provinces, not really states as such, and I actually live in one of the smaller provinces, which is the Eastern Cape, eastern part of the Cape province. Originally it was just the Cape province. Now you've got the Eastern Cape, the Western Cape, Northern Cape, etc. So I live in a town called East London, which is in the Eastern Cape, and yeah, it's actually, I would say, definitely one of the lower income or poorer regions of South Africa. There's not a lot of industry here and so forth, but I enjoy it. I've lived in various parts of South Africa, and living here in East London along the coast, which is important to me. I love living along the coast. I'm not too keen on living in Johannesburg or Pretoria, any of those bigger cities. I enjoy the outdoor life, fishing, etc., and East London has a great mixture and offers me the best of both worlds. So it's not too small, it's not too big, it's actually quite a quiet life, and I enjoy it here in the Eastern Cape. Question number 2, how did you get into collecting? Okay, how did I get into collecting? I think the real reason was many years ago. You know, I've been collecting 15, 20 odd years. I've been collecting, was going to auctions and seeing at that stage the old Spectrums and that sort of thing coming up on auctions, and it just broke my heart that these machines, the Commodores, Spectrums, anything like that, would just be turfed. Nobody wanted them at the auction. So you know, I started buying these old machines every time I saw one come up at auction, and I started collecting them, and that's how I got involved in it. I kept my original Spectrum. It's somewhere. I've got the box, etc. But because I've got so many of the old rubber key Spectrums, I'm not sure which one is actually my Spectrum that I had as a kid. And it progressed from there. So it started off by actually wanting to save the old machines, then it sort of grew into nostalgia, and since then I've wanted to collect more of those machines that I grew up with and wanted to own. And a lot of it goes hand in hand with those great old computer magazines that we used to get. I remember my mom used to buy me, I think it was a weekly magazine, Sinclair User, or no, actually it wasn't Sinclair User. The Sinclair User was a separate magazine. That was a monthly magazine. But there was a weekly magazine that came out in the UK, which I used to get. And from there, I used to have a look at all the old machines, or the other machines that I wish I could own. Could obviously never afford it. Very expensive game, you know, those old computers, very expensive, way out of any of our sort of price league that we could even hope of owning. So now that I see those machines, now I purchase them. I remember there was a magazine called Big K, or something like Big K, that came across from the UK, and that used to have sort of a breakdown of all the different 8-bit computers. And I can still picture it in my mind, you know, during the holidays, going through it, reading it page for page, you know, wishing I could own a Memotech, wishing I could own a Dragon 32 MSX machines, those machines that you never saw in South Africa, because you know, face it, the games always look better. You know, even though I'm sure the games are just as crap as the games that were on the Spectrum and the Commodores and so forth, but other machines always had that allure to them. Question number 3, I'm starting to ramble. What does your wife, partner think of your hobby? Nah, she hasn't bought into this hobby. She thinks it's an absolute waste of money. Threatens me that one day when I kick the bucket, this stuff is all going to the first auction, and it's just going to be, that's it. cleared out, make room, make space. My son actually enjoys it, I think, because he's a bit of a gamer himself. My daughter, nah, not interested. So yeah, definitely no interest from the wife's side, from my better half, and she thinks it's an absolute waste of money. It takes up space, there's no reason for it, it must all just be turfed, gotten rid of. So if anybody out there, if you ever hear that I've kicked the bucket, get hold of her quickly, because you'll pick up all this stuff here behind me for next to nothing. And obviously, you know, when she asked me how much did I pay for it, I divide, don't tell her, I divide all the prices by 10. So, you know, she doesn't think it's worth much at all. Favorite game of all time. Favorite game of all time. That's actually quite a tough one. Is it the game that you come back to most often? Is it the game that you played the most of? I would say my favorite game of all time would be, and I'm going to give two. I'm actually going to give two. Would be, and it's actually a PC game, because you know, these are the games that actually I think I played the most of. Dune 2. I think that was the game that I played. I mean, it was such a new concept. The first strategy game that I played, real-time strategy game that I played. Fantastic game. Dune 2, you can still put it on there and play it. It's definitely the game that got me into wanting to buy a PC and upgrade PCs and go on from there. The other game was my first real role-play game that I played, which was Underworld. Fantastic. I mean, you know, just the whole concept. And I finished it. I played it from start to finish and played it continuously, then eventually played Underworld 2, which I never finished. I never owned the original, and there was bugs in it, and I think it kept crashing and so forth. So Dune 2 and Underworld were definitely the two, I think, my two favorite games. Eye of the Beholder, yes, I think that was there, but Eye of the Beholder, you know, with that jokey sort of movement, I think the Underworld was although the Eye of the Beholder was before that, definitely. On the 8-bits, favorite game on the 8-bits, Jetpack for the Spectrum. That was, I think, the best game that I had on the Spectrum. Played it a lot, enjoyed it a lot, but I think because there were so many games on the Spectrum at that stage, because I mean that was really the only 8-bit that I grew up with, besides the Spectrum Video, which I had for a short time. There were so many games that you tended to play one and then jump on the next one, 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 the next one. You never really played one game continuously all the time. So yeah, that was, so favorite game, Dune 2, Underworld. First person you subscribed to. First person you subscribed to. I got into YouTube more by accident. I think I was, what actually happened was, I think I actually, last year sometime, I'd stopped going to auctions for a while, and for some reason I went past the auction, and lo and behold, there was one of those little ColecoVision tabletops games that was there, and I saw this over there and I thought I wanted it, always wanted one, so I bought it, and I went and I wanted to see what it was worth. Typed in ColecoVision and Google brought up a whole lot of things, and it brought up some YouTube stuff. Hit the YouTube stuff, and then slowly I saw, you know, some of the guys doing reviews and that. I think the very first channel that I subscribed to was Steve Benway. For some reason, Steve Benway. I think from there, looking at that stuff, I started going through my stuff in the garage. Everything was in boxes, been in boxes for, I hadn't displayed it since I moved into this house that I'm staying in now, which is, I've been here 8-9 years, so it's been in boxes for 9 years. Before that, I sort of had a gaming room where a lot of the stuff was put out and I actually had it displayed. And then I started going through and say, my old Spectrum and this and that, and started going through the stuff, and I think it was Steve Benway or Tony's Electric, might have been Electric Adventures with the Spectrum Video stuff, because then I saw the my old Spectrum Video stuff, and yeah, I think I might have done some checking up on YouTube for that. So yeah, those are the five questions. I need to nominate 3 other channels. Guys, I'm not sure whether you've been nominated. I have no idea. I'm not sure even if the competition is still on the go, if it's actually ended. But first of all, I'm going to nominate a fellow South African channel, and that is HPZeta, up in Centurion in Pretoria, who also is into retro gaming, modern gaming and so forth, does a lot of collecting, does a lot of repair videos. Go check his channel out, especially if you're into repairing stuff. I mean, he's really good at it, not like me. I'm kind of crap at repairing things. Half the things that I try to repair don't work, so I'm still, you know, finding my way around with the repair stuff. The second channel, a guy's channel that I really enjoy, Novabug. I'm not sure if he's been nominated in this competition. And the third one, let's hazard a guess over here. Let's have a look, and I'm going to go with the Aussie, and that is Hellfire64. So one from South Africa, HPZeta, Novabug from the UK, who's Amstrad Fundi. I really enjoy his stuff on the Amstrad, because I don't have a working Amstrad yet, but I'm getting there. I've got 2 of them. I'm going to get them working eventually, and I'm going to play Amstrad games, because I always wanted a working Amstrad. Fantastic machines. I like the look of them. You know, some of these old 8-bit computers, like the MSXs and the Spectra videos, you like the look of them, and you've got to have them, and I've got to get a working one. And then Hellfire64, who's into the Commodore stuff. You know, Commodore, you know, second in line when it compares to Spectrum. Not as good as the Spectrum. I still maintain that, as much as the Commodore guys out there. Yes, it's got better sound, it's got a SID chip, but who needs sound? You know, it's about the games. So no, I actually do like the Commodore stuff. So Hellfire64, go check his channel out. He's got a great Commodore channel, and does a lot of gameplays which I enjoy watching. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I haven't been putting up a lot of videos lately because we've been having issues with the internet. So I don't know when I'm actually going to put this video up. Hopefully in the next few days. Otherwise, cheers from me, guys.